This episode, we're going into full mystery mode. Oh yeah. This is Avery After Dark, and I'm your host, Avery Ross, and boy oh boy, do I have a story for you. One of the most bizarre unsolved mysteries I've come across. I mean, this is weird. A case of psychological torment, one where everyone is a suspect, and the ending will leave you stunned. And if you're enjoying these stories, subscribe. Thank you very much. Put your detective hats on. This is the Watcher of Stark County. In the quiet, tree-lined streets of Stark County, Ohio, nestled in a modest home, Bill and Dorothy Wacker lived a peaceful life. They had been married for 48 years and lived in their home most of their lives. They were kind, quiet people, the kind of folks that really kept to themselves. But in 1984, their world was shattered by a series of events so bizarre, so chilling that they could easily be mistaken for scenes from a psychological thriller. In January 1985, things took a dark turn. Bill and Dorothy come home one afternoon from the supermarket, and they find their house ransacked. They say, "Ugh, not again," because oddly enough, this wasn't the first time. This had happened twice before in recent months, but this time, Bill reported it to the sheriff. The break-ins and strange activity began the year before, in 1984. So, police made a report, but nothing seemed to come of it. And then came the summer. It was a warm July day, and Dorothy was at home recovering from heart surgery when a knock at the front door echoed through the house. A young man stood at the door, someone Dorothy didn't recognize, saying he had car trouble just down the road. Wanting to help, she let him use their phone. The man was polite, grateful, seemed harmless. Dorothy described the young man as very friendly. Mid-20s, about 5'9", blonde hair, blue eyes. She shows him to their phone and goes back into the kitchen. And after making the call, he thanked her from the next room. Dorothy said, "No problem," and believes he left, but he didn't. He was still in the house, and then he struck. The next thing she knew, Dorothy woke up bound on her kitchen floor. The unidentified man had snuck up behind her and knocked her out with a blow to the head. She managed to crawl to a window, desperate and injured, and signaled to neighbors for help. Thankfully, Dorothy was not seriously injured. The attacker had vanished, but he left a bizarre message behind. Scrawled in crayon on the dining room wall were 4 words: "Cheaper, but will do." Police are called and photograph the message on the wall, looking for clues around the couple's home. They discover that some of Bill and Dorothy's belongings had been stolen. A .22 caliber revolver was missing, an antique watch, a video camera, and a radio scanner. Dorothy met with police to create a sketch of her attacker, which was published all over town. But he was never identified. So much about this case was a mystery. For one, who would want to hurt Dorothy? Who could be behind this activity? This was a quiet, older couple who really kept to themselves. And 2, what does that message left on the wall mean? Cheaper, but will do. This is one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard. I can't make sense of it, and I've thought about it a lot. It gets stranger. Over the next few months, something even more unsettling happened. 4 months after the attack, Bill came home to find the revolver wrapped in a plastic bag placed on his front porch. And one by one, each stolen item returned. Bill was shocked and couldn't make sense of it, especially the revolver, stating that if the attacker didn't have use for it, he would think they would try to sell it to someone else. And to Bill and Dorothy's horror, this was really just the beginning. Sheriff W. Bruce Umpley, who worked the case, was struck by 2 things. The cryptic, strange message on the wall. He had no idea what it meant. It made no sense to investigators. Bill and Dorothy also didn't have any idea what it meant. And Sheriff Umpley stated in all of his years in law enforcement, he had never seen a gun being returned after it was stolen, saying It's extremely unusual and rare. Who could be behind this strange activity? Whoever it was had ransacked the home on 3 separate occasions, attacked Dorothy that day, left that strange message on the wall, stole some things, and then proceeded to return all of them? What? The strange activity continued with creepy anonymous phone calls. Sometimes silence. Sometimes heavy breathing. Other times, threats. The whackers changed their number again and again, but it didn't seem to matter. Whoever was doing this kept getting the couple's new number somehow. This stalker, the attacker, would make horrible threats to Dorothy, and the calls really scared her. They had no idea how the stalker was getting their new number every time, and the calls continued. And then it gets even creepier. This stalker, this unknown individual, would bang on their walls at night, always in the evening. The couple would be sitting in their family room, reading or watching TV, and the stalker would bang numerous times, hard. Bill would jump up and run outside and never find anyone. There was no sign anyone had been there, no car pulling away, nothing. So they're at a loss. They have no idea what to do, but they know they need some extra security, so they install a big light outside their house, near their porch and garage, thinking maybe this would deter the stalker from being so brazen. After this, they find something haunting, a handwritten note placed on their porch, mocking them. The note read, "Your lights are a laugh." More notes would follow, each one more unnerving than the last. And they were always written in this jagged, unnatural handwriting, as if the writer had used the wrong hand to disguise their identity. Police took a look at all the notes, but they never found any fingerprints, no DNA. They had no leads. And this went on for years. Then, just a few days before Halloween, on October 27th, 1993, Dorothy was outside one night when she was attacked again. An unknown individual snuck up from behind her, and this time she was hospitalized with skull lacerations. Police had already interviewed neighbors, but they scoured the neighborhood again, questioning neighbors if they had seen any strange, unknown individuals in the neighborhood recently. But neighbors always told police, no one has ever seen anyone out of the ordinary. Detectives said they never found any evidence that anyone was there that night. And this is where the investigation takes a turn. One of the detectives working the case sits down with Dorothy and says, "I have to ask you something. Do you think your husband could have done this?" Dorothy says, no way. He wouldn't do something like this. Bill comes back after being accused, asking why he would do something like this after 48 years of marriage. But for investigators, nothing about this case made any sense. The detective saying that usually with any kind of criminal activity, it's usually pretty upfront. You may be watching this and saying, what's the motive here? And that's exactly what police said. They couldn't determine a motive. Police also noted how sporadic the activity was. There would be months of nothing, and then a month of chaos and reports of harassment and attacks. Then the activity would become dormant again. Fed up and desperate, the Whacker family took matters into their own hands. They launched a stakeout. Bill hid in a trailer outside the home, and their son-in-laws waited across the street in a van, hidden. Dorothy and her daughter stayed inside, and they were determined to catch the stalker or stalkers once and for all, and stayed in communication with walkie-talkies. And they sat there. 1 hour turned into 2, turned into 3. For 4 hours, they waited and waited, and nothing. But get this. This is pretty strange. They say they decided to give up on the stakeout, and everyone calls it a night around 10:30 p.m. And then, a series of thumping sounds on the porch. When they rush back outside, no figure in the dark, no footprints, just another note. It read, "Get the message? So the stalker would have had to somehow find a blind spot in the stakeout and place this note on the porch without anyone seeing them. Or somehow know that the family gave up on the stakeout at 10:30 p.m. and placed the note after they all went inside. Either way, it just didn't make any sense. How this stalker or stalkers was able to go unseen, undetected for years. In 1994, the couple's story aired on Unsolved Mysteries, but even with national attention, there were no leads. The attacks, the phone calls, the stalking, the notes, no one was ever caught. And as the mystery deepened, suspicion began to turn inward. As we discussed, police started to wonder, was the call coming from inside the house? Could Bill have been behind it all? But no proof of that ever surfaced, and both Bill and Dorothy denied it. Bill said whoever the stalker was seemed to get a kick out of scaring the couple, saying that he must have enjoyed this sick game. And in time, the strange, cruel campaign against them vanished as mysteriously as it had began. 10 years of harassment, attacks, calls, whoever is behind it all has never been identified. Bill stated in his Unsolved Mysteries interview that it seemed like the stalker was doing this so that the couple would move. But why? Why would anyone go to such lengths to terrorize this couple for 10 years? Many believe, given the strange details in this case, that it was someone who knew the couple that was behind it all. Theories have circulated online. Some believe it could have been a neighbor, someone who, for whatever reason, didn't like the Wackers, wanted them to move. Or was it a family member? Or is there a possibility that this was the work of a total stranger, a deranged individual who just got a kick out of messing with the couple? Bill passed away in 1999, and Dorothy passed away in 2010, and this case has never been solved. The Watcher of Stark County has never been caught. Is this individual still alive, or did they just move on to someone else? What do you think? Was this the work of a genuine stalker, an angry neighbor, or someone with a vendetta? Why would someone go to such lengths to terrorize this couple for 10 years? Detectives say this is one of the strangest cases they've ever seen. To this day, nobody knows who was behind this, and perhaps we never will know. This case reminds me a lot of the Watcher case from New Jersey, where the Broaddus family was also terrorized by a stalker who tormented the family with letters and called himself the Watcher. And in that case, the Watcher was never identified. I definitely feel that it was someone that the couple knew pretty personally, but who that is, I don't know. It's just so strange. It's so eerie that it's unsolved. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I always love hearing your take. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give this video a like, and turn on post notifications so you never miss out on an episode. Next time, I have so much more mystery coming your way. Until then, check out these videos. You could pick that one. Super, super creepy. Or that one. Super, super spooky. Both great options.